Hi everybody, I'm Garth Wyckoff.
And I'm Christina Macauley.
And welcome to the Public Cable Television Authority's first episode of Orange Slices. Christina, what do you think is the best part about living in Orange County? Is it the people, is it the awesome weather, or all the fun things we get to do around here?
Well, all of that for sure, Garth. That's why so many people want to live here. But there are so many great things about Orange County, some things you might not even know about.
I'm sure of that. There's so many hidden gems and untold stories, and that's what this show is all about. We're going to bring you slices of Orange County to showcase some of the people, places, and things that make our community so special.
Exactly. For example, we all know Orange County is the home of the world-famous theme parks. How great is it that we have both Disneyland and Knott's Berry Farm right here in our own backyards? But there's another park that prides itself on being smaller, a place with great rides and attractions, but wait for it, without all the crowds and long lines.
Now that sounds fun. I'd love to check it out.
All right then, I'll pop over to Stanton and show you a little bit more. See you later.
All right, have fun. So Christina's heading over to Stanton to visit a place that has rides and attractions. Rides and attractions in Stanton. Oh, I know where she's going. See, there's this cool place that used to be called Hobby City, but now it's known as Adventure City. So let's see what Christina has for us.
Yvonne Ansdell not only knows the names of all 120 of her employees, she also knows their families and their stories. She considers each one as part of her own family here at Adventure City. Yvonne and her husband Alan run the park, along with their children and now grandchildren.
It's absolutely incredible. We give each person their own leeway and their own spot. If you're working in guest relations, we let you work in guest relations. We don't get in each other's business. And that's why it works out. We have a lot of respect for each other and what they can bring to the table. And in doing so, I think that's what gives us the longevity.
Long before Adventure City opened in 1994, Yvonne first came to the Stanton area as a girl when her father decided to make a career change.
Well, in 1955, I was 12 years old, and we lived in Seal Beach. And my father was a commercial fisherman, and my mother did not like him being out in the ocean. So they said, let's sell the fishing boats down in Newport Beach and find a piece of property out in Orange County where we could build a little family park.
The desire to create a family destination grew into a hub of antique shops and collectible stores on the border of Anaheim and Stanton, which eventually came to be known as Hobby City.
My parents really wanted to build a little center where people could come and spend the afternoon, not spend a lot of money, but to be able to do something different. Collectible shops, a doll and toy museum was what my mother's desire was. Something where you could collect hobbies, a family could spend the day and could really have fun together.
The way Yvonne meets and greets her workers every day is a reflection of her parents' values and work ethic.
My father said, Yvonne, let's do something where we could make $1, but we can make a difference. It may seem a little corny, but that's how we've kind of stated our whole business life. We don't want to just do something that doesn't make a difference in the community. We really wanted to build something that would make the difference in other people's family life.
Many were skeptical in the early 90s when the family first talked about opening a theme park in Stanton so close to Disneyland and Knott's Berry Farm. But they set out to offer what the big parks couldn't.
What we wanted to create was a small 2 to 10-year-old ride park where you had adult capacity on the rides and a family could come and spend maybe 3 hours. Adventure City is only a small amount of money to get in.
Another thing that separates Adventure City from the big parks is the custom design of their rides to fit a very specific purpose.
At a lot of ride parks, they have beautiful rides, but the children will not get on the rides without the parent. But a lot of times there's a height restriction and the parent can't get on. So you have a small child that won't ride. So what we did is we had the rides designed in Italy and brought back over. My son had a concept of the city, and he said, let's do a ride park where the adult capacity could be on the ride, and so all the rides have adult capacity.
The concept was a success from the start. Even in the shadow of the big theme parks, the family knew they were in the right location.
What's unique about Stanton is they were always so great to work with. They always wanted us to do well as a family. Even though we were here starting the land in Anaheim, they were very welcoming for us to be part of Stanton also. So it was really, people say, well, it's really two cities. Isn't that hard to work with? No, it wasn't hard to work with. Each city gave something to the community, and that's really where we were. We were really building a place for the community, and today we hire on, we really hire on 120 employees during the summer and 90 during the winter.
One of those employees is Yvonne's granddaughter, 21-year-old Brielle Ansdell, who, like the other 4 grandchildren, have worked here part-time during high school or college. Today it's a job, but as a girl, this was her playground.
So I grew up in Stanton. I loved it. I've been here since I was born. I had great neighborhood friends, just like every other kid. I went to the parks, I played, and but it was definitely different because my parents own the theme park and we lived just across the street, so every summer I was here all the time with my mom and my dad working, and it was really fun. I got to, like, my preschool went on field trips here, and I got to come and show everyone what I do all the time.
Longtime Stanton resident Barbara Thomas has been a greeter here for the past 14 years and has been in love with the park since the gates first opened.
I think it was wonderful. I think it was the best thing anybody ever did for Stanton, is to bring a little park into here.
Well, what's different about this park is the people that work in the park. They really make the difference and make the experience what you love about the park. People say all the time, where did you get these people? What they are is people are coming into the park and having a great time because they're greeted with people who care.
Adventure City was flying high for the first decade. Then the family had some shocking news.
So about 8 years ago, I was diagnosed with third-stage cancer. It was very aggressive. So we had to get together as a family and make a decision what we were going to do. We ran the park as a family, and we had to decide, okay, are we going to continue on with what we're doing, or what are we going to do now? And so we came to the conclusion as a family that we could keep going. We thought possibly we'd need to sell the property. Instead, what we did is sold off about 3 to 4 acres on the side that we were saving for parking, where we were all living. So we sold those homes thinking, well, that would be a good place to sell off and then put all the dollars into Adventure City and Hobby City to create a cushion so we didn't have to be afraid, upgrades and that sort of thing.
After a tough battle, Yvonne was able to beat her cancer, and the park never missed a day of business. Today, she's cancer-free, and Adventure City is going strong. But when Yvonne's mother passed away 5 years ago, the family began to rethink the Hobby City property. The centerpiece was this scaled replica of the White House, which used to be her mother's home and her doll museum. They decided to close the museum and transform the magnificent building into a new White House Event Center. It's now a popular venue catering to weddings, quinceañeras, corporate functions, and other special events.
We're standing upstairs in the White House. It's a 1/2 scale replica of the White House in Washington. This was my mother's living room. She was very patriotic and wanted to have the White House to live in. So my father built the White House for her, and you're standing upstairs, and this was my mother's living room. Now, most people would say this is way too big a living room, but my family was always planning for the future. So upstairs was supposed to be eventually a meeting room, a place where you could have a wedding or corporate parties. She has her bedroom here, a very small kitchen because she didn't believe in cooking, she just believed in dusting the stove off. Huge dining room, a guest room, and that was all there was to it because she said someday you'll use this for a party room, and that's what we've done.
With the success of the new White House Event Center and the longevity of Adventure City, this location is sure to be a family destination for many years to come. The Ansdells can be certain the family business will carry on. And though it may not seem like it, Yvonne and Alan are now officially retired.
I don't think you ever really retire. I'm here for quinceañeras, I'm here for big events, I'm usually here at least once a month. It'll always be part of our life. I mean, if there's anything going on, all the family comes back. So we'll always be here. It's part of our lives. It's not just a business, it's a way of life.
Hey, that place is great, especially for families with younger kiddos. And I understand another fun secret about Adventure City is that a number of movie stars like to take their kids there to avoid the spotlight of the bigger theme parks. And speaking of the spotlight, our next Orange Slice is all about a shining star right here in the county. Let's go back out to Christina, who's now in the city of Westminster.
This is the age of elegance. Ladies ages 60 and older compete in the Ms. Senior California pageant, once again taking place at the beautiful Margie L. Rice Theater in Westminster. For over 2.5 decades, California has hosted the largest Ms. Senior pageant in the nation, and more winners of the Ms. Senior America title than any other state. The women are judged in the categories of philosophy, personal interview, formal attire, and talent.
The first thing I ever hear is, well, I can't enter because I don't have any talent. Oh, yes, you do. What did you really want to do when you were young? What did you really want to do? Well, I used to dance a little, or I used to twirl a baton. And I said, well, let's do it. Let's do it again. And it takes a courage to do it again, but they do.
To better understand the extraordinary caliber of these women, this is the story of just one contestant, Ms. Senior Orange County, 73-year-old Ginni Gordon of Huntington Beach.
I believe that you have this one go-round, and why would you not take the opportunity to do as many wonderful things as you can?
From college instructor to dental hygienist, family therapist, dancer, actress, photographer, the one thing Ginni never imagined being was a pageant contestant.
Funny story, my best friend saw an article in the paper about the Ms. Senior Orange County pageant. She said, hey, let's go down and apply and see if we can get in. So we went down and applied and got accepted, and then she dropped out. So I was on my own, and I thought, and I had exactly 2.5 weeks from when I signed up to the pageant. So I thought, well, let me look at this. I have a dress I can wear. I have a costume to wear, and I have the song that I do as a solo anyway. Okay, let's do it.
The talent portion was actually easy. After 25 years as a tap dancer, Ginni's latest passion is hula.
And I even teach Tahitian dance to senior centers, that if you can't stand, you can still do the signs, while you're sitting, and they don't just totally get into it. It's really fun.
It's no surprise she found a way to use dance as an outreach. She is always finding ways to make a difference in the lives of others.
I've done everything from cook at soup kitchens to I marched in the parade. I believe that I have had a blessed life. And I believe in the philosophy that if you've been given a lot, get out there and share it with somebody else. So I kind of keep my heart open, and whatever I feel led to do, that's what I'm out there doing.
Ginni married right out of high school. Her husband, Bob, of 33 years, passed away in 1991. They have 4 children and 5 grandchildren. But 5 years ago, the family suffered an unthinkable loss.
My grandson contracted a rare form of leukemia right at his 13th birthday. It was a very traumatic thing because we're really a close family. He was just the greatest kid. And so 20 months of fighting it, and he did pass. But the neat thing about it is that my daughter and her husband have become childhood advocates. And my daughter is making her 12th trip in October back to Washington, D.C. She is the California representative that goes and talks to senators and assemblymen about voting for more funds for childhood cancer research.
Professionally, Ginni's strong drive to make a difference led her to pursue a degree in counseling. She now runs support groups for parents of troubled kids.
The reason I chose the parents and not the kids is the parents are there wanting to change. So you're not trying to motivate or convince them. They're there saying, what can I do? How can I do it? They take homework assignments. They practice with each other. You know, we did a lot of empty chair stuff. Okay, here's your kid sitting here now, you know. Okay, now you go be your kid, and you know, that kind of stuff. And it's just fabulous. It's just fabulous and rewarding to do that kind of work.
While dance has been her favorite hobby, recently she came across an opportunity to try acting. She now plays the role of cosmetics queen Mary Kay and other prominent women in history in a traveling stage show called We Did It For You.
I went to the meeting, they had a meeting about the play. So I went to the meeting to help them stage the dancing. And they said, well, why don't you just read this one little part? So I read Mary Kay Ash. And I said, you don't get it, I'm not an actress. She said, but you're so beautiful, you have to play Mary Kay. And I said, how can you say no to something like that? So that was my first part. And then part of being in the play is that she wanted us to understudy a couple of other parts in case maybe someone was sick or something. So I looked for the two next shortest parts, and it was Billie Jean King and Eleanor Roosevelt. So I studied both of those parts, and you know, the ladies that played those parts dropped out, and I went from having one part to three.
Oh, and in her spare time, she's also an accomplished photographer.
It's more for my own edification. I'm not the kind of photographer that takes 150 shots of the same place. I like to get behind the camera and compose. And so I will take 5 or 6 shots.
With so much to share, Ginni had no trouble at the pageant when it came time to present her philosophy on life.
I believe that life is an adventure.
It's 35 seconds long maximum, so there isn't a lot that you can put into it. So I knew I wanted to say something positive because that's what I'm about. I love the Abraham Lincoln quote, people are generally as happy as they decide to be. And I decided I want to live my life from a positive place. So that's my philosophy had to do with choosing to see my life as an adventure and enjoying the little twists and turns and taking difficult things and using them in a way to serve somebody else.
In the end, Ginni did not win the Ms. Senior California crown, but she's grateful to have been in the company of such extraordinary women.
I have gotten a chance to experience women my own age that are making the most out of their life and are given an opportunity to show and be an example for other women to step into that same, place.
She is now focused on using her title of Ms. Senior Orange County over this next year to encourage others to make the most out of life.
So my message would be, don't focus on what you used to be able to do and you can't. No more downhill skiing for me, broke my arm twice, figured out that's not my thing, But for everything you can't do anymore, there's this absolute rainbow of things you can do. So life is a magnificent experience if you find, first of all, be in service to someone that can use your wisdom and your help. And secondly, look into doing something that maybe is a little outside your comfort zone, but might be something that is just lights you up from the inside out.
Miss Senior Orange County, Ginni Gordon, truly an inspiration. Now for our final orange slice, the surf is up and Christina takes us out to the International Surfing Museum. You can find great waves all up and down the California coastline, but there's just one place that has earned the title of Surf City.
Before they became involved with the International Surfing Museum in Huntington Beach, they were surfers.
Yeah, I've been surfing since the mid-'70s, and I still surf almost every day when it's good.
Lifelong surfer. I lived most of my life in Hawaii and came to Huntington Beach 14 years ago and surf every day.
Made my first leash out of a piece of rope and one of my sister's belts.
Wait, not everyone surfs. The museum was actually founded by Natalie Coach, who spent the first half of her life in Canada, nowhere near the ocean. But you don't have to surf to love surfing.
What sport in the world can a person do from 4 to 84, It's a beautiful sport. The 21-year-olds, the blonde surfer dudes, they kind of caught my eye as well.
After moving here in the late 70s, she saw that Surf City took great pride in its heritage, but something was missing.
A museum is something that every community really needs to celebrate their past and to let the teenagers know where they came from.
It took years and a lot of volunteers, but she did it.
The surf community eventually, after they laughed at me for a while, embraced the idea and brought their artifacts in.
The museum opened in 1987, a tribute to surfing and so much more.
And they really didn't realize that it wasn't just boards, it was the music, it was the books, it was the art.
It's really a lifestyle, and of course with your lifestyle comes whatever music you like, and surf music is a genre on its own. We have art, we have the surfing itself, contest surfing, non-contest surfing, longboarding, shortboarding. Now we have stand-up paddling, the clothing that goes along with it, the beach lifestyle, the California lifestyle. It really started with surfing.
Surfing dates back to the early 1900s.
What our goal is to preserve those roots of some of those surfers that were here in 1915 all the way through today, and showing the progression of what surfing's gone through. We have all the founders of our sport are starting to go, unfortunately, and so it's even a bigger burden on us to make sure we preserve those legacies.
Duke Kahanamoku is considered to be the founding father of international surfing. Brett Barnes, who happens to own Duke's restaurant at the Huntington Pier, is a huge fan and a Duke historian.
He was an actor. He was in 30 movies. He made a dramatic rescue here in Corona Del Mar. It was 8 people or something, but in 30-foot surf, he paddled out and on an old wood board and saved all these people and just walked away down the beach. He used to, in Hawaii, he owned a restaurant. He had a gas station. He was an Olympic swimmer, Olympic water polo player. Besides introducing surfing all around the world, he was the first gentleman to take it to Australia, for instance, and surfing's huge in Australia, and they dedicate many memorials to him.
Brett's restaurant is where he came to be friends with Natalie.
Natalie, our founder, used to come in and do her client dining down there, and we became friends, and she was friends with one of the founders of our company. And eventually she asked for help as she was starting to slow down a little bit and needed some more help. She came to a few of us here in town and asked if we would serve on the board, and can't really say no to Natalie.
Now, as chairman of the board, Brett is tasked with continuing Natalie's vision. Permanent museum displays include the Surfing Hall of Fame and a mini theater which plays the legendary surf movie Endless Summer. You can even see the actual camera used to film it. Dave Reynolds is the museum's exhibit director.
This is the actual cornerstone that was part of the original Huntington Beach Pier. They opened up the pier on June 20th, 1914, and Henry Huntington at the time hired a guy named George Freeth, who was a surfer from Hawaii and here in California, hired him to come and surf at the Huntington Beach Pier. Nobody had ever seen surfing, and blew everybody's mind to see a guy paddle out there, catch a wave, who they'd seen waves for their whole lives, but never saw anybody standing up on a board and riding a wave, and it just blew everybody's mind.
It's also Dave's job to bring new ideas with rotating exhibits, like this incredible collection of surf wax.
Well, this is an example of the very first surf wax from 1964. A company came up with this product, and they just called it surf wax. Before that, kids had borrowed and stole the paraffin from their mother's kitchens to rub it on their surfboards, and it didn't work very well. So this company in Redondo Beach came up with the very first marketed surf wax. It lasted about a year, and then they went out of business. They only cost 35 cents, so there really wasn't a lot of money in it. After that Redondo Beach company went out of business, a couple guys, Rusty Miller and Mike Doyle, started a company called Surf Research in Encinitas, and they started making surfboard wax. And they started with tuna cans. That's how the first surf waxes were round. And they were the very first company to make colored scented wax. And the reason they did that was because when they would use the paraffin, they would heat it up in a pot, and they figured out how to use motor oil to soften it so it would rub on your board a little better. Well, it smelled kind of nasty and it looked kind of nasty. So what they did, they figured out, hey, let's put in some red and blue dye, food coloring, and then we'll put in some grape scent. And so they came up with the idea to make it colored and scented. And then nowadays, you have multiple scents and colors.
More than an archive, the museum is now an active part of Surf City.
We're involved in as many community events as we can. The Surf's Up for Down Syndrome, where we teach Down syndrome kids to surf, we help with that, and we do anything that's related to surfing or the education of surfing and the lifestyle. We'll be involved in that. We do tours here for the school kids in town and help educate them on the history of surfing and Surf City.
It's been an amazing journey. We celebrated just recently 25 years. In reality, it's been longer than that. I mean, there are just such treasures that needed to be saved, and we are glad that we have a place to save them, and you have a place to come and visit them.
The International Surfing Museum is located on Olive, just off Main Street in Huntington Beach. For hours and special events, check out their website at surfingmuseum.org.
Welcome back, Christina. Next time I'm in downtown HB, I'm definitely going to check that out.
You should. And they're always bringing in new exhibits, plus they have lots of great events and fundraisers. So check out that website before you go, Garth.
I will do that for sure. Well, this has been a fantastic look at some terrific things happening right here where we live.
Thanks for joining us for Orange Slices. And if you have an idea about someone or someplace to feature in a future slice, let us know. We'd love to hear from you. Email us at orangeslices@pcta.tv or find us on Facebook. Look for our Orange Slices page.
Until then, I'm Garth Wyckoff.
And I'm Christina Macauley.
We'll see you next time.
A place with great rides and attractions, but without all of those long lines and crowds.
That's okay. And that sounds fun. Hello, everyone.
I'll pop over to Stanton and show you some more.
All right, have fun. So Christina is heading off to Stanton to visit a place with parks and attractions. Oh, it's rides and attractions. Yeah. Oh my goodness! So Christina is headed off to visit Stanton and see a place with rides and attractions. Oh, I know where she's going. There's this cool place that used to be called Hobby City, but now it's known. Oh my goodness! Our next Orange Slice is about a shining star here in the county. Let's go back out to Christina, who's now in the city of Westminster. And I said minister. I just found out today it's Westminster, isn't it?
Not minister.
Westminster. I'm going to start saying wet. Welcome back, Christina. Next time I'm in downtown HB, I'm definitely going to check that out.
You should. And, they've always got new exhibits. Sorry, I got distracted because I saw them talking.
Welcome back, Christina. Next time I'm in downtown HB, I am definitely going to check that out.
You should. And, they're always bringing in new exhibits.
Hot. Can feel the heat, how hot we are right now.